Well, we're in Chicago and sitting with Helen Ostrowski, and it's Sunday, September 13th.
My birthday.
Your birthday, that's correct. Thank you so much for taking time away. Well, you're here at a conference on your birthday as well, but thank you for spending some time with us. So let's get started, and if you could just talk about your career path following graduation from New York University, through your time at Porter Novelli, and what you're doing now.
Okay. The quick synopsis of that is I started working right after high school. I was a secretary, and I was brought into the Public Affairs Division at American Cyanamid, which was a Fortune 200 company, no longer around, but well known for being in the chemical industry, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods, etc. I spent 10 years there. I worked my way up. I started to go back to school. I went to college at night at NYU while I worked during the day, and eventually was promoted into an internal communications spot. And then I was cycled through a number of positions. I was very lucky because in those days, this is back in the early 70s, that department had some very, very senior people from the industry generally who had the time to spend with a younger person, and that made a huge impression on me because it really taught me the importance of giving back. It's something I've carried through all my life. After I left Cyanamid, I went to Shearing Plow for 5 years. I worked in the corporate department for a while, corporate communications. I was very fortunate. We had a new CEO. He needed an internal speechwriter, so there I was. I was 28 years old. I got to work with a very charismatic CEO. Taught me a lot about how CEOs think, what's important to them. I often thought about that after I became a CEO myself, and then moved into the international pharmaceutical division at Cyanamid, where they were really practicing marketing communications at a global level. But that was really as a profession, or as part of our profession, I would say, was really in its infancy. And then after that, I decided I needed to break out of the corporate world and probably get some real hands-on work. So that's when I moved over to the agency side. And I worked for a couple of smaller healthcare public relations agencies, so I got a chance to work on marketing programs for products, which was great. And then Porter Novelli hired me. They brought me in to head up the healthcare practice in New York. And we had a lot of very good pharmaceutical companies that we worked for. My job was to really grow and expand that. And then when the position for the general manager of the New York office became open, I moved into that, and ultimately I became the CEO in 2002. And I saw the agency through a huge amount of change over that period of time, and I would say about 2-3 years ago, we started talking about the fact that I would really like to retire early. I have an older husband. I have a lot of things in my life I still want to be able to do. So I felt it was important to also turn over the reins to new leadership, additional leadership that I had been cultivating over the years. So we put in place a succession plan, and in 2008 I moved to half-time. I proposed to my parent firm that I should become chairman for a year, which would provide the kind of transition they were looking for and the agency was looking for. Did that, and then retired at the end of last year. So what am I doing now besides being able to sleep beyond 4:30 in the morning? I'm still on a number of boards, including the Arthur Page Society board. I'm also on the board of the International Youth Foundation, which oversees youth development, particularly in developing countries. So that is really a great organization, and a couple of other boards as well. And I just started teaching as an adjunct professor at New York University in the master's program. And I'm actually spending a lot of time as well, as you might imagine, on things I just didn't have a chance to do before. A lot of time with my husband, my kids, my grandchildren, my friends, my family. Not traveling as much as I thought I would, interestingly. I realized I had traveled so extensively in the last 10 years that the last thing I want to do really these days is to get on another airplane if I can help it, unless it's something really special. So I'm really actually trying to see more of the environments I live in. We live in New Jersey and in Florida, and we spend a lot of time driving back and forth when we're going, and I'm getting to see parts of the country I'd never seen before. So it's just great, and life is good.
Oh, that's excellent.